Hey guys, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. This is the first video in a new series I'm doing about true crime and football. Today is the first day of football for me. My Dallas Cowboys are playing the first preseason game tonight. So to me, preseason means football season. Every week we're going to be covering a case involving true crime and football players. There is a definite connection there. There are lots of theories and explanations of why that might be. Today, we are going to be covering Kevin Ware. He has been indicted on murder charges for murdering his girlfriend, Taylor Pomaski, in Texas. This case it's such a tragedy, and it really needs to be out there. It needs to be talked about. So let's just dive into it. This is Taylor, and today we're going to talk about why this beautiful woman is no longer with us and with her family. On July 28th, a Texas grand jury indicted former NFL tight end Kevin Ware, 41, for the murder of his girlfriend Taylor Pomaski, who was 29 years old. He's also been indicted on charges of evidence tampering, specifically tampering with a corpse. If he's convicted, he faces 15 years to life in prison, and personally, I hope he gets the max. Taylor disappeared following a house party on April 25th, 2021. Her remains were found by Texas EquiSearch on December 10th of 2021 and were positively identified as being her on May 1st of 2022. Taylor was 29 years old and lived in Spring, Texas with her boyfriend of about a year, Kevin Ware. She was the daughter of Stephen Pomaski and Leslie Manville, and she has 4 younger siblings. She was also a dog mom to Molly, who is described as the love of her life. Taylor was described as funny, happy, and front and center all the time. She loved being with her friends and family and always had something to do. She was interested in computer science and had been working at various odd jobs while she was still trying to figure out what her professional niche was in life, what she wanted to do with the rest of her life. So Ware was arrested on drug and weapons charges in Montgomery County on April 19th of 2021. He was pulled over in Magnolia, Texas, and when his car was searched, they found drugs including cocaine, meth, marijuana, and a Xanax pill, along with a loaded AK-47 and a loaded 9mm pistol. He was released the following day after his bond of $106,000 was reduced down to only $23,000. On April 25th, 2021, there was a party at the house that Taylor and Ware shared together, and neighbors have reported seeing the couple argue violently at the event. After the party, Taylor had disappeared. Taylor's mom, Leslie, hadn't heard from her daughter for a couple of weeks since the party. She decided to file a missing persons report on May 9th, 2021, because it was Mother's Day and it was also Taylor's dad's birthday. Taylor had not called them, which was unlike her. With it being such a special day, there was no way that Taylor was going to miss out on calling her mom to wish her a happy Mother's Day and to wish her dad a happy birthday. Now, Taylor has a longtime friend and former boyfriend, and his name is Eric. Just one moment. Picture of them together. Here we go. And Eric had also called her parents that day because he knew that they should have heard from her on that special day. Eric was one of the last people to see Taylor and speak to her before she was murdered. He said that he witnessed the relationship with Ware slowly decline in the months before her disappearance. He said Taylor knew he was abusive and she was in trouble and had to get out of the relationship. The last time Eric saw Taylor was on April 4th, 2021, and he was very concerned about how she looked. He said that her face appeared to have bruising and swelling, and she was very thin and just did not look healthy. Eric described Taylor as a proud woman who expressed herself and was fearless. He says she was getting to the point when she was ready to get out of the relationship. Ware had taken away Taylor's cell phone weeks prior, and she was only able to communicate through email. The last time Eric communicated with her was right before she went missing. She had sent him an email, and it said, "I need to talk to you." Eric responded, "Okay," but that was the last time that he heard from her. Up another picture. Sorry. Okay. When Taylor's mom filed the missing persons report on May 9th, she went to Ware's house with police who were questioning him because she wanted to pick up Taylor's dog. She said that Ware was nice when he was talking to her, but he was really hesitant to hand over the dog. Taylor's mom knew early on that something wasn't right. All of Taylor's belongings and her beloved Molly were left behind. Taylor was not reported missing by Ware or any of her so-called friends in the house. Ware said that he was doing all he could to find Taylor, but his story kept changing. On May 11th, 2021, Ware told Taylor's mom that they had broken up and she left town a while back. Ware told a friend of Taylor's that she left with a buddy and he didn't know who it was. And then he told another friend that she left with 2 unknown males. Ware told Taylor's mom that he was out of town on May 11th, but she was on his street and she was watching as people were being interviewed by the police. And Ware was one of those people. So he said he wasn't there, but she did in fact see him there being interviewed by police. Tim Miller, founder of Texas EquiSearch and Recovery, said they conducted at least 12 to 14 searches, including one at Ware's parents' property, located in Henderson, Texas, about 100 miles from where Taylor and Ware were living. The remains were discovered in northern Harris County by Texas EquiSearch personnel in December of 2021 and were later confirmed to be human by the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences. On May 1st, 2022, the remains were identified as those of Taylor Pomaski. Authorities suspected foul play in Taylor's disappearance, while prosecutors identified Ware as a suspect in June of 2021. Kevin Ware played football for Klein Oak High School in Harris County, Texas, and in college at University of Washington. He then went on to play as a tight end for the Washington Commanders and the San Francisco 49ers from 2003 to 2004. Before he went to college, he was held on robbery charges. In 2022, at the University of Washington, he pled guilty to misdemeanor assault for assaulting a campus police officer and received a suspended sentence. In 2010, in Houston, Ware was charged in 2 separate incidents with theft and evading arrest after an assault. In 2018, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison for intent to manufacture or deliver a controlled substance, which is a first-degree felony. As I told you earlier, Ware was stopped for speeding on April 19th of 2021 in Magnolia, Texas, and was found in possession of multiple drugs and 2 loaded firearms. He was arrested on the drugs and weapons charges and was released on bond the next day. Ware was then arrested on June 11th of 2021 in Harris County by the U.S. Marshals Service. This arrest was for a bond violation after he failed to appear in court for supervision and did not check in with his probation officer. This arrest involved a car chase in which Ware allegedly drove over 115 miles per hour and was later found to be carrying weapons and drugs again. Ware remained in custody at the Montgomery County Jail without bond, facing charges of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, a first-degree felony, and unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, a third-degree felony. On July 28th, a grand jury charged Ware with the murder of Taylor Pomaski and tampering with evidence, specifically a corpse. Lacey Johnson, a chief prosecutor in the Harris County DA's Major Offenders Division, who was handling the murder case, said in a July 28th statement that although the investigation has been going on since Taylor's disappearance in 2021, the court process is just beginning, and the DA's office encourages anyone who has knowledge about what happened between Taylor and Ware to come forward. Late on Friday, July 29th, court documents revealed that Ware murdered Taylor by cutting her, hitting her with a blunt object, and strangling her. Some experts like to point to CTE, which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, as part of the reasoning behind why some players commit these horrific crimes. CTE comes from repeated head trauma and concussions. It can't be diagnosed until autopsy. Got a little infographic here about CTE. Bear with me, guys. And they say that, you can start developing it by playing in high school, playing in college, playing professional, whatever. And it advances in a similar way as Alzheimer's. But like I said, there's no way to know that a person has it until they die. And then their brain has to be examined at autopsy. So I'm not a big fan of the CTE excuse, but I know it's probably going to get thrown into this case. And if we look at his past criminal behavior, I don't think that we even need to consider that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It never should have happened. My biggest question, I guess, regret, I guess I can't regret it because I didn't do it, but what if Ware had been held longer? What if they hadn't reduced his bond so significantly that he got out 5 days before Taylor disappeared? We know from her friend Eric that she was at the point that she knew she needed to get out of the relationship. If Ware had been held longer, would that have given Taylor the time and the space that she needed to get away from this guy? Could that have saved Taylor's life? Now, I know we don't have a crystal ball, and it doesn't change anything now. It's not going to bring Taylor back. But I just, you can't help but wonder, what if, given his criminal past and seeing that he obviously wasn't learning. I mean, he had been arrested on the drugs and weapons charges. He didn't come in for his required supervision. He didn't report to his probation officer. And then when he was pulled over, he was in possession of drugs and weapons again. I feel like that should have been enough to keep that bond set as high as it was. And if they hadn't reduced it, that could have been the perfect time for Taylor to get away. We don't know that she would have, but it's just a question that I think with this case I will always have. So you can see that above I have the DV national hotline number. DV is a big part of this case. And if you or someone you know is suffering in a DV situation, please call them and they can help you get away and get the help that you need to move on. We don't need to see any more of these cases. This is such a tragedy. I've got the memorial post up here from Taylor's family, and it's heartbreaking to think that they lost such a beautiful person at such a young age. Like I said, there's this strange connection between crime and football, and I just feel like it doesn't need to be that way, that steps could be taken. You know, I know people are seeing these things happen and somebody needs to step in. No, I'm not trying to blame or guilt anybody in the situation for not stepping in. It is a very difficult situation. It is hard to get the courage to leave, and they say that the most dangerous time in a DV relationship is when you decide to leave. So I don't blame anybody except Kevin Ware for this, because he is the only one responsible for Taylor no longer being with us. I hope that the DA does get people to come forward to tell the stories of what happened between Taylor and Ware. I hope it helps them to build a very strong case. And like I said, I hope he gets the maximum punishment. It will not bring Taylor back, but her family deserves that justice for her. They deserve to see this guy finally put away for his crimes. I will continue to follow the case. If there's any updates, his actual indictment papers and things like that have not been released yet. When they are, if there's anything significant in those, I will update and share that with you. And when I find out when the trial will be, I will definitely cover that for you and let you know how this all turns out. I ask that you guys keep Taylor's family in your thoughts and prayers. This is not an easy time for them. Losing her had to be one of the most difficult things they've ever gone through, and this upcoming trial has the potential to reopen all of those old wounds. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers, as will I. I want to thank you for stopping by today and spending a little bit of time with me and learning about Taylor's case. And I ask that you give this a thumbs up so it will boost it in the algorithm. Share it with your friends. I think it's an important story that needs to be out there. So share it on your social media. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and click the bell to all, and you will get notified every time I upload a video, not just about true crime and football, but all of the other cases that I'm following as well. So thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.